Funding for the Iowa Girls High School Volleyball Championships is provided by
The path to greatness starts early. The Iowa Farm Bureau believes in Iowa's youth and their pursuit of greatness. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Each student's effort is important, and when one rises, we all rise to a better Iowa.
Fairway, along with Nabisco, Wells Blue Bunny, and Frito-Lay, is a proud sponsor of the 2015 Iowa Girls High School Sports Championships. We congratulate all the schools and student athletes participating in this year's Girls High School State Volleyball Championships. Fairway, proud to care for the places we work and live.
By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialist, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community.
Mid-American Energy, diversifying the ways we generate electricity by investing in wind generation capacity in Iowa. Information is available at midamericanenergy.com. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
It has been a full day of championship volleyball here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And we're down to our final match of the day. It's the 1A championship. Sidney in their first ever state championship, taking on Janesville, a very experienced veteran team. Greetings, everyone. Eric Braley, Barb Randall again. Thanks for joining us. And you like this 1A matchup.
I love it. Sidney, it's their first time here, and you can tell they grew up together, they care about each other, the way they play together, the chemistry is magical.
Let's take a look at the semifinal highlights and how both these teams punched their ticket to get to the state title. Here's a look at that Sidney team, 34-1. Barb, they've won 29 in a row, and they're not necessarily the tallest of teams.
They don't have a player on their team over 5'9", and you'll see number 2 right there, Lexi Larson. The ball goes through her. She gets kill after kill after kill. She does it from the front row. She does it from the back row. She leads this team.
She led them with 22 kills in that semifinal victory. They knocked off number 1 Central Lyon. Not only did they knock them off in their first ever state tournament, they knocked them off in 3. So that is the Sidney Cowgirls, but they go up against a tough Janesville team, and talk about their brutal schedule that they took to get to this point here.
Well, I think their schedule is what got them to this point. Throughout the season, they play 5A teams, they play 4A teams. They have more losses than many teams at the state tournament, but they do that intentionally so that they're prepared when they get to this point of the season.
So Janesville, again, taking on Sidney in the Class 1A final. 27-14 overall, but they swept Tripola. Interesting, Janesville and Tripola just a couple miles apart geographically. But why is Janesville such a good team besides going up against that tough schedule?
Well, again, they have a lot of experience. They've been to this state tournament many years, and their players know what it takes to get here. They load their team. If they don't have enough for the full roster, they load their team with the young players so that they get the experience of being here, so that when it's their turn to actually be on the court, they know what it's all about.
They've won 1 state title and finished 2nd twice in the last 6 years. They've been here now 6 straight years, and they're playing for a state title tonight. 6th straight trip to the state tournament for Janesville. Sidney, the only state qualifier who is making their first ever trip to the state volleyball tournament. They're not just happy to be here. They figured, well, if we made the 4.5-hour drive all the way over to Cedar Rapids, we might as well win the whole thing. So
make it worth the trip.
It's been fun to watch them in the quarterfinals and semifinals, and now it is time for the championship, the Showcase Showdown. We've already handed out the 5A, 4A, 3A, and 2A championship trophies to Ankeny Centennial, West Delaware, Nevada, and Western Christian. Only one more trophy left to be handed out here tonight from the U.S. Cellular Center in downtown Cedar Rapids. It's been a full day, and hopefully you've enjoyed tuning into this here on Iowa Public Television. We'll have the starting lineups as well as the keys to the match. And then live play-by-play as Sidney has won 29 matches in a row. Janesville, though, poised to get back and win another state title. Let's send it to the floor for the public address announcer.
State volleyball tournament and this Class 1A championship match between the Wildcats of Janesville and the Cowgirls from Sidney. Let's meet the teams. From Janesville, non-starters. Number 1, Lily Lickway. Number 3, Hope McDermott. Number 5, Victoria Hazard. Number 9, Madison Stanhope. Number 10, Ashley Hicks. Number 11, Kennedy Rieken. Number 14, Grace Havenga. And number 15, Peyton Thompson. Assistant coaches, Todd Bengen and Dana Sorensen. And now for your starters. Number 2, Andrea Hess. Number 6, Kennedy Meister. Number 7, Alisa Bengen. Number 12, Bree Thompson. Number 13, Carly Boyle. Number 16, Jillian Gergen. And your libero, number 8, Morgan Charlie. The head coach for Janesville, Shelly Sorensen. And now the non-starters for Sidney. Number 4, Cassidy Hobby. Number 5, Ashley Fof. Number 12, Tate Smith. Number 14, Sarah Daly. Your assistant coach, Kent Larson. And now for your starters. Number 1, Mackenzie Holsing. Number 2, Lexi Larson. Number 6, Quinn Sheldon. Number 7, Cameron McClintock. Number 10, Mackenzie Daffer. Number 11, Kenna Neneman. And your libero, number 20, Jaden Daffer. Head coach for the Cowgirls, Amy McClintock. The officials for today's match. First referee, Stuart Dusenberry. Second referee, Sean Peterson. Line judges, Jude Holzer and John Becker. Ladies and gentlemen, let's play volleyball!
I'm ready, Barb. You?
I'm ready. This is the match I've been waiting for.
Let's take a look at the starting rotations for this 1A final. First, Janesville. And they've mixed up the starting rotation. It hasn't always looked like this throughout the entire year. Pretty strong top to bottom. And you take a look at some of the key players who are going to need to make a difference for Janesville if they want to come out with the victory. Who's 1 or 2 players you think is going to be very important for them to have a big match?
Well, I think their 2 setters will be huge. They run a 6-2 offense, and the setters come out of the backcourt. That's Alisa Bengen and Carly Boyle. They will be key.
And for Sidney, you can see not the tallest of teams, but boy, are they scrappy, and they have outstanding team chemistry. This has been their starting rotation almost the entire season, and they feel like they're hitting on all cylinders after defeating number 1 Central Lyon in the semifinals last night. Here are the keys for Janesville, Barb.
The keys for Janesville today are to mix up the offense. Sidney's defense is really good, and if they know what's coming at them, they're even going to be better. Then they also need to play high above the net. Sidney's team is not very big. The tallest player is 5'9", and if Janesville can hit from high point, they can potentially hit over that block.
There you see the keys for Sidney.
Sidney needs to continue to play as a unit. They play well together, and then they need to defend, 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 keep sending that ball back over.
Those are the keys to the match. We have the starting rotation, and we're ready to rock and roll here for the Class 1A Championship Final. Sidney has never been to the state tournament. They just knocked out the #1 team. They're ready to go here in Janesville, making their 6th straight trip to the state tournament. They won the state title a couple of years ago and finished 2nd twice in the last 6 years. Opening serve, and Janesville with a good attack. And that'll be the first point for this 1A final. So Gergen, the 6-foot junior middle hitter, leads the team. And interesting, last time Janesville won the state title was 2013. Jillian Gergen was a role player on that team. Now, she's the go-to player on offense.
That play, the lefty, Kenna Nenneman, is in the middle, and that's a hard place to play when you're a lefty.
Why?
Because the ball always has to cross your body, and when it's coming quick, it's a lot harder to swing in time and hit it correctly.
The wind up, the punch, the kill. 3-0 right out of the gates. Janesville, the Wildcats, making an opening statement here. And good serving by the Wildcats. Morgan Charlie, a 5'4" junior defensive specialist. Into the net, the attack there by Lexi Larson. It's 4-0. And for a team that has never been to the state tournament, again, the stages cannot get any bigger and brighter than this right now. Maybe some early jitters, but also some great play by Janesville early on.
Absolutely, and if they can keep taking advantage of their middles, which are bigger than Sidney's middles, they're gonna be okay today.
Wildcats step under the net. So the first point comes off of an error by Janesville. Trying to take that and turn it into some momentum as Cameron McClintock with the serve. The Cowgirls to the outside, good swing. Janesville needs an overpass. Well, and it goes down. So good at defense that just caught kind of on their heels right there.
Well, that's a surprise. I haven't seen a ball like that from Sidney all week. I think they may have a little case of the final match jitters. But usually if the ball's down, there's a body on the floor, and usually they get it up.
Attack on the outside for Sidney. So Sidney wearing the red tops and Janesville wearing the white tops. Ball was tipped. It did go out of bounds, but it was tipped by the Cowgirls. So Janesville gets the point. Let's take a look at the replay.
I think the player who touched it was in the back row. So I think the back row defender tried to pull off it, but she just couldn't get there quick enough to pull away.
Service error makes it 6-2. Sidney riding a 29-match winning streak. By the way, Sidney, far, far corner of the state. About 4.5 hours away.
In the southwestern corner.
Southwest corner. And one of the largest rodeos in the United States is held there early August. Sidney. I've never been, but I've heard nothing but good things about that rodeo. Also known for a good track and field school as well. But they've really turned this program around at Sidney. When these seniors were 8th graders, Sidney varsity won 1 match. When they were freshmen, they won 5 matches. Fast forward a couple years, they're playing for a state championship.
Which is so impressive to make those kinds of leaps and bounds. It's almost unheard of. I'm sure there are stories out there that we just don't know about, but it's so neat to see girls who grow up together in a small town become young ladies who are fighting for a state championship.
Meanwhile, Janesville, they have some young freshmen who've been inserted into their starting rotation, making some big plays. It's Peyton Thompson, she's a senior, and things are looking good for the Wildcats here in the opening set, up 9-2. And a timeout called by Sidney. Here's a replay. Good placement, went to the sideline.
Well, that time, what happened on Sidney's side is when you're in the front row at the very first play, you have to start in certain rotation, and we'll talk about it in a minute.
Swing away, talk early. We take care of the ball, run our offense, cover our hitters, keep the ball in play, okay? Go get this. Good start. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Push. 1, 2, 3.
Hard to have a better start than what they have right now, up 9-2, Barb.
That's right, and Sidney just looks a little shell-shocked. What I was talking about is when you make your switches, you have to make them quick, and that tip caught Sidney off guard. They weren't quite to their positions yet, didn't have their feet stopped.
Janesville spent a good portion of the season ranked #1 in Class 1A, but a rugged regular season as Janesville primed and ready. They've been battle-tested, played just a ton of 4A, 5A schools. So maybe not the best win-loss record, but they've gone up against the very best competition. Oh, that's going to go in. Wow, needed that one as they caught the back line.
And those are the kind of shots that Sidney is going to have to make because they are up against their bigger block, so they have to kind of have an upward trajectory to go over the block, but keep a nice top spin on it so that it comes back down in the court. Nice
serve by the Cowgirls. Return, but out of bounds. Try to go that sideline. Good idea. Just a little bit out of bounds, and now a couple-point run for Sidney here. Class 1A championship opening set. Out of bounds again. Same spot, same outcome.
Well, and Janesville's trying different things. Down the line, cross-court, just trying to get the ball in. They really need to put the ball away against a team that plays defense like Sidney does.
Wildcats being led by Jillian Gergens, 3 kills. About half the points that Sidney has so far.
Yeah, there was a touch on that. The line judge has it.
Okay, so a touch and big excitement out of Jaden Dafford, the libero. She is fired up.
And a freshman.
Just a freshman. Always good when you're libero, a very key position. The anchor of that back row defensively is a freshman because you know you got 4 good years out of her, and she's getting a good, valuable lesson here playing in the state title game.
She is, and I'm sure she'll want to be back another time or two before she graduates. It's awesome.
10-6, Janesville with the serve and the lead.
I'm a strong believer that you need to bring young girls to this event and let them see what it's all about and dream about it and hope to play on this court one day.
It makes those hard work, maybe the early morning workouts and sessions, that much more valuable because you know what the goal is, the end goal.
In those summer workouts when maybe you could go swimming or work on your ball control, for instance, might make that worth it.
Quick set. Hit deep and out of bounds. That's the freshman Bree Thompson. And now a big run here by the Cowgirls, trailing just by 2. Back set. Defensively, Sidney. Can they turn it into points? Oh, just out of bounds, but it's
there was a touch. Well, and that's going to be the hard thing for Sidney. They're going to have to rely on the line judges a lot because some of those touches, when you're hitting with an upward trajectory like they need to, it's going to be hard to see some of those touches. So that's going to be a challenge.
Sidney in system. Back set. Cross-court attack. Nice battle at the net. Quick shove over. Been caught Janesville on their heels. They weren't expecting that. And look out, here come the Cowgirls, all tied up at 10 apiece.
This is just smart play. She saw that there wasn't a player back there in the corner. Janesville plays a player back defense, and we've talked about how they have a middle player, so the corners are open.
Here's Amy McClintock and listening inside their huddle.
Setter's hands and get the block, all right? Kenzie, who's ever in front row, you got to get back and get ready for that push out of the middle, all right? Hey, have fun. Let's go.
I don't know if you have to tell them to have fun. Just looking at their body language, I think the jitters are gone, and they're here to play.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. The first 5 or 7 points, I think it would have been good to say, hey, relax, just enjoy this experience, see what's out there, and then they would have maybe just gotten to this point on their own. But yeah, now that they're caught up, I think they're having a good time.
Sidney, what's impressed me, they're very composed, all tournament long, not nervous. Actually didn't talk about a state championship as an end goal at the beginning of the season. They talked a lot about the regular season, and then they realized, hey, we're pretty darn good, 34-1, and now taking it day by day, and they have the lead now, 11-10.
Well,
5-0 run.
They don't make a lot of mistakes, and when you're good at defense and you don't make a lot of mistakes, that forces the other team to make mistakes.
Sidney trying to keep this run going. Pancake kept it off the court. Hitting air off the hands, and Janesville gets the point. So here's Bree Thompson with the kill. Here's the serve by Thompson. Freshman outside hitter had 281 kills. Out of bounds.
Well, right now, it's Janesville making the errors. I mean, if they could have that downward trajectory that we've talked about, it's a little bit different. Sidney needs to go up and over the block. Janesville needs to go down. And so they need to change that, hit on top of the ball, and find the back couple feet of the court.
So the serve by Holsing from Sidney. Hit into the net. So 13-11.
Well, and this is very interesting because Janesville came out not making any errors, and now they're starting to make a few errors. And there's another one.
So another attack error.
The good part about it for Janesville is it's fixable.
Yeah.
You know, they just need to kind of batten down the hatches, make sure that they're getting their flow, kind of stroke the ball a little bit until they get to the point where they can hammer it again.
Another service ace, and Sidney can do no wrong. A 10-1 run, 10-1 run to take the 4-point lead here in the opening set. 15-11 for the Cowgirls. Good pass that time. Near side attack down the line for the kill. First kill of the night for Kennedy Meister, the sophomore outside hitter.
You've talked a little bit about how poised they are and how they stay in control and that kind of thing. They enjoy the point they just won, and then they get locked in, right back in focus. And I think the coach has worked on that throughout the season, saying it's 1 point at a time. You know, you play 1 point at a time and you go from there. And so that's really important in the game of volleyball, because you can lose a lot of runs just because you're thinking about 3 points ago.
More celebration as they're inching closer and closer to the 25-point mark. Now up by 4 points. And the serve coming from Quinn Sheldon, a senior. Not a lot of seniors on this team, but Quinn is one of them. Good up. Sliding set. And what most teams would do is just a free ball over the net. They actually got a good swing on it. Now Janesville in system can work something. To Sidney. Nice rally. This is the best volley we've seen so far in this opening set. Little tip. And it's plays like this you expect for a championship match. Wildcats with the point. They pull within 3.
Well, and like you said, that's a nice long rally. They were both taking decent swings, not necessarily hammer swings, but they were taking fairly aggressive swings, and the defense was doing all the work.
Down for the kill. 17-13. Here's the replay. Nice back set. Perfect placement on the sideline there. Janesville, another attack there. And when you look at the keys to the match for Janesville, mix up the offense, keep Sidney on the toes. I felt like early on, yes, but not as much here in the middle stages of this opening set.
Well, now they're having to go outside because the pass isn't where it needs to be to run a middle quick. But part of that is they've been swinging and making mistakes. So they need to make sure they get the ball in the court, and then they can start doing some of that other stuff.
Listen into the Janesville huddle. They trail by 6.
Are we playing our best game? Not even close, okay? So we turn things around, start playing our game. We got to chip away 1 point at a time. But you got to get ready right up here. 1 point at a time. You got to turn it around right here. Get that momentum going our way. More talk, okay? More hustle. Take care of the ball in the front row, okay? Keep it in play. I know they're digging up the ball, but we've got to end it on our termination, okay? We got to terminate, okay? Not on our mistakes. Got it? Here we go. Side out. 1, 2, 3.
That might be one of the most frustrating parts for Janesville is they're not playing their best, and they should be, because today's the last day of volleyball in the state of Iowa.
Well, yeah, their backs are, you know, there's nothing else. So all should be on the table, and Coach is right. She needs to, you know, make sure that they're making terminating hits like that one, and kind of they just need to calm down a little bit, play their game.
4 kills now for Jillian Gergen. Had 15 kills in the semifinal victory over Tripoli. That was an interesting one, as they avenged a 5-set Iowa Star Conference loss to rival Tripoli with a dominating sweep in the finals last night. 25-23, 25-13, 25-14. You'd think some of that momentum would carry over, but guess what? Sidney defeated the #1 ranked Central Lion yesterday. So both teams should have felt pretty confident heading into this championship match.
But
that's in.
And I'll tell you one thing, as a hitter, it's frustrating when the ball keeps coming back. You think you're taking good swings. You think you're going to put the ball away, and it's dug. Just another look at that. That, from the camera angle, that looked out, but we're sitting right on the line, and it was in.
Meister, back-to-back aces, could not come at a better time for Janesville. Good pass.
Okay.
Inbounds. Wow.
Well, the libero hit that ball.
Yeah.
And we've been telling everybody all day that that's illegal. But the key is that she did not contact the ball above the height of the net, and so that's legal.
Little miscommunication, and that's going to cost the Cowgirls 20-18. Neck and neck as we head down the home stretch here in the Class 1A opening set. Janesville jumped out that commanding lead, a 10-1 run by the Cowgirls. Played a 25, win by 2. Janesville in the white uniforms, Sidney in the red. Point, Sidney.
Nice use of the block there by Hulsing. She when you're using the block like that at the very end, you kind of need to turn it so that you're hitting kind of out of bounds so that it hits the hands and bounces off the court, and that's exactly what she did.
Her first kill of the match. To the outside, blocked. But Sidney is not going to let it hit the court. Good swing. Kept it alive. Good placement. When you're above the net, you look around. Where's there a hole? Where can I find a weakness in that defense? She surveyed and saw that opening on the line.
Well, and it's tough. The right front player probably should have gone into block, and then she kind of got caught in no man's land.
A little sloppy there, but they still get it over. Janesville, good attack. Now, there is no getting it by that back row defensively, and Jaden Daffer, the libero.
That time the blockers' hands for Janesville just went straight up. If they would have been pushed over the net or penetrated over onto Sidney's side of the net, that ball probably would have stayed on Sidney's side.
3-point lead for the Cowgirls. They need just 3 more points to take this opening set. Quick set, pushes back row. Sidney, overpass. There's the attack they wanted, but it goes deep and out of bounds. Now 23-19.
Well, and that's exactly what Janesville needs to do. That was a great swing, just a little bit under the ball, so it was out by 2 feet.
Quick set, middle. It's hard to stop that. And one of your keys, Barb, play high above the net. If I'm a viewer, why don't they run that play every time?
They'd like to, but the quick set like that is basically, it remains that the pass has to be good, because the setter can't set a quick set like that. Well, they can, but it's harder if the pass isn't good. So if you're not serve receiving cleanly and well, it's going to be hard to run a quick offense.
So the better the pass by the defensive specialist in the back row makes the job easier for the setter.
And makes the job possible. I mean, if you don't have a good pass, the quick set might as well not exist.
Each phase of the sport of volleyball complements the other phase. 24-20. Set point for Sidney in their first ever state appearance in the volleyball tournament. Out of bounds, Sidney. Who'd have thought? They needed a 10-1 run, and then, hey, this isn't too bad. Right. They got confident, they got their swagger back, and they look strong. 25-20, Sidney wins. Well, after their semifinal victory over the #1 ranked team yesterday, we got up with the coach talking about making school history at Sidney.
And you don't know how they're going to act the first time you come to a state tournament, because this is the first state tournament in the history of volleyball for the Sidney Cowgirls. So when they came in, they've been very businesslike. They have goals. You know, we set goals all through the season, and then I said, you know, now it's 0-0 again. The season's even. Everybody has 0 wins and 0 losses, so let's set a new goal. And it was just to take one game at a time, and they wanted to get to the championship, and here we are.
25-20. It takes more than just one, though. We saw in the 5A match we announced, Bettendorf won the first set, but it was Ankeny Centennial who won the next 3. So Sidney, they should be feeling good right now.
Stay down.
Still some work to do.
Well, and the interesting part, the stats of that set show that Janesville should have won it. Janesville leads in kills 12-10. They lead in blocks 2-0. They're about even in digs, and they have one more ace.
So what happened?
Well, it doesn't always translate into points. You know, it's mistakes, and it's the mistakes don't count for either side. If you hit a ball out of bounds, that's a point for the other team, but it doesn't translate on the stat. Yep. So they're both right there. Janesville just needs to come back on its errors, and Sidney just needs to keep playing defense.
After the semifinal win, we talked to number 16 Gergen on growing from her freshman year when she was a role player, now a junior and the leader of the Janesville offense.
I have a lot more experience. I'm not as nervous as I was. I've obviously developed more skills and I've gotten better. And it's a whole new environment, obviously, because different team. But I think we'll do it. So
that's cute.
We appreciate the coaches and players for the willingness to be interviewed. And hey, we hope
being mic'd.
Exactly. In the heat of the championship match, we hope the viewers enjoy that as well. It's been a full day of high school volleyball championships. Started at 10 a.m. as Ankeny Centennial won the 5A title. We moved to 4A. West Delaware defeated Harlan 3-0. In 3A, Nevada won their first ever state title, 3 over West Liberty, 2A, it was Western Christian. That was a great matchup. 3-1 over Sumner Fredericksburg. And the last one here, 1A championship match. Big shout out to our entire production team at Iowa Public Television. I don't know, counting heads, they're always moving around, so it's hard to count. 25, 30 of them, I don't know. But the production team and the truck, the camera operators, everyone doing great. And I tell you what, does it get any better than the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, Barb?
It doesn't for me. I think they do an excellent job with this whole event. It's almost a week long. It's Tuesday through Friday, and they do a phenomenal job bringing Hall of Famers in, distinguished coaches, the teams. They make the teams feel special. It's a really neat event.
So the second set picks up right where the Cowgirls left off with the kill. Nice play by Janesville, though. And Janesville, some interesting notes here. Freshmen, Lickaway, Bergen, and Thompson didn't even have varsity jerseys at the start of the year. We're not on the varsity roster. About halfway through the season, they were handed jerseys. They ended up taking some starting positions and really have transformed themselves and helped transform this Janesville team to get them to this championship match.
Well, and Janesville is, you know, coming out pretty decently after having made a bunch of mistakes. They got a kill. You know, it's good to see that they aren't too rattled from that first set.
2-1. Letting it go, and it's now 3-1 in favor of Sidney. That's what I'm so impressed with, though. So many freshmen for Janesville. Well, the Cowgirls have several key freshmen as well. And talking with their coaching staff, their 8th graders are going to be awesome next year. This year, Sidney's 8th grade team went undefeated. A lot of younger sisters of some of these varsity teams. And we watched Cedar Falls High School play. They had 3 sets of sisters as they advanced to the semifinal match. That's fun. You call your teammates sisters, but it's fun when your actual teammates are your real biological sisters. 3-2 Cowgirls, second set. Janesville with the equalizer.
Well, and Sidney's only putting 1 blocker up on the middle hitter, so Janesville's middles have their way with whatever angle they want to hit. They just want to make sure they aren't hitting it straight on, and they can hit cutback or just the left or the left back part of the court. Sorry, tongue-tied.
A service error, a side out, and here comes Cassidy Hobby, a 5'5" sophomore middle hitter, into the front row. And not many 5'5" middle hitters.
No.
But she's smart, tactical, and fundamentally sound. Good spot, nice placement. Bree Thompson, another freshman. 281 kills for Thompson, a .297 kill efficiency, 4-4. So a service error last time Janesville served, now a service ace. Well, Barb, we talk about just how amazing this high school volleyball championship is, and I'm not going to say the specific year that you played in the state championships, but just talk about the transformation for Iowa high school girls athletics, the sport of volleyball, from, I'll just say a decade, the 80s to where we are today here in 2015.
Well, it's unbelievable. The sport is so much faster than it was when I played here many moons ago. The game has picked up. You know, we thought it was cool if we could run a quick, and we thought it was cool if we could run something out of the back row. It rarely happened. You know, we mainly hit 2s out of the middle and that kind of thing. And these guys are all running. They're running X's. They're running quicks. They're running back row stuff. They're doing all sorts of stuff that we didn't do till we got to college.
But also the tournament itself, you didn't have a central location where, hey, we're going to Cedar Rapids for the state tournament.
Well, and the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union has done a fantastic job with pulling everything together. Way back then, we were all at different high schools. So we only had 2 classes, and we were at a different high school than the other class was. And we played on Friday night for the quarterfinals, and then the semifinals were Saturday morning, and the finals were Saturday night. So it was a 2-day thing. You know, it was neat. We got to stay in the hotel, that kind of stuff, but it was spread out. It wasn't like everybody got together and got to enjoy the whole event together.
Now you have 5 classes, 5 trophies handed out. Janesville lets it go, and just the experience for these high school student athletes, incredible. 8-6, Janesville with the lead. They trail the series 1-0. Barb Randall, Eric Braley with the call here for Iowa Public Television. Down for the kill, having a big time match so far. 6 kills. 6 kills already for the freshman Bree Thompson.
Well, in that time she did a nice job. She hit the ball between the blocker's hands. We call that the hole in the block, and the back row defense couldn't get it for Sidney that time. So it's smart to hit into the hole of the block, because a lot of times, even though the back row defender is supposed to fill that hole and play that hole, a lot of times they don't.
Here's Mackenzie Holsing to serve for Sidney. 34 aces on the year. She already has 1 here in that opening set. Off the block, return. Janesville wasn't ready for it. So Janesville's road to state. They defeated Gladbrook Rhinebeck 3-0. North Tama 3-0. Iowa Valley 3-1. That's just to get to Cedar Rapids. In the quarterfinal, knocked off Grandview Christian 3-1. And in the semifinal, avenged their Iowa Star Conference loss to Tripola 3-0. That's key, because Janesville had won 2 Iowa Star Conference championships before Tripola beat them this year. 8-10. Looking over and getting the signal from the coach. Set it up to the outside through the block. The block was there. Why didn't it stop that ball from going through?
Well, the block was there and it hit the hands, but the arms were straight up above the head versus being pushed forward and over the net, what we call penetrating the net. And so when it hits straight up, the ball's not going to necessarily bounce back over onto or stay on the opponent's side.
Janesville getting their swagger back that we saw in the opening set. But a quick answer by the Sidney Cowgirls. Again, riding a 29-match winning streak. They've been getting it done with defense.
Well, and you can see it looked like Sidney was expecting a joust there, but there wasn't really much of a joust, and she pushed it to an open part of the court.
Tracking down the pass. Sidney. Free ball. Looking to try and get a good swing out of it. They do, and it's down for the kill. Well, so much easier when the setter's not sprinting all over the court trying to just get the ball over.
And that's huge, because you have 3 hitting options. With a 6-2, you always have 3 hitters in the front row. And when that ball comes to the setter, she knows that she can go anywhere she wants to.
Halfway point of the second set. And it's going to be a tight one here. Cowgirls into double digits, but trail by 3. Head coach for Sidney, Amy McClintock. Just 2 years of coaching, both at Sidney. Very impressive, 49-14 record. Assistant coach Kent Larson. Kennedy Meister, the 5'6" sophomore hitter. Number 2 on the team in kills with her 5th.
Well, and that was a nice deep corner shot, and Sidney does kind of play a player back defense, but they're I'm going to call them wings, even though that's not exactly what they are. Their sideline defenders are back pretty deep, so it's almost like a straight line across back there, so that deep corner is a little bit protected there.
Keep an eye on some of the strategy and then also some of the adjustments both coaches are making throughout. You might have a solid game plan you think heading in, and then realize either one, it's not working, or two, the opposing team has completely changed what you expected coming into it.
That's exactly right, and so you have to be able to make adjustments on the fly.
A kill there for Meister, averaging 2.6 kills per set. What I like about her as a sophomore, second on the team in kills, number 1 on the team in digs. She's one of those players that can play every position on the court.
Well, and you like to see players that practice all the skills and get to play all of them in the game. I'm not a big believer in just having front row players and back row players. I think everybody should have to know how to play all the way around, because sometimes you may get stuck in a position or be able to help the team in a different position if you have practiced there. Even if you're little, you can play in the front row.
Exactly.
And even if you're big, you can play in the back row.
Get down and dig up the ball and get a good pass on it.
Well, I took a lot of pride in the fact that I played all the way around. It was before the day of the libero, but I still was not a liability in the back row, and I took a lot of pride that I worked hard back there, and I worked to make sure that I didn't come out in the back row, because it was important.
I think that's the key. Wanting, the will to want to learn and be good at it, and hard work doing the little things to improve on that level. That's just a hair out of bounds. The attack air pulls this to a 2-point ball game here, and this, I'm not going to say, I guess I am going to say it, but I don't want to say this is a must-win for Janesville, but boy, you do not want to go down 0-2 and give Sidney, a team who's never been to state, that huge advantage heading into that third set.
Well, and even more confidence than they have right now.
Yeah. That's why each and every point, especially now here on that second half of this set, is just even more important. 2 contacts, a free point for Janesville. Again, Janesville wearing the white uniforms, Sidney wearing the red. We talked about Janesville's road to state. Here's how Sidney got here. Sweeping Heartland Christian. Sweeping Nishna Botna. A 3-1 win over Fremont Hills. Sweeping Stanton. That's 4 victories just to get to state. And then a quarterfinal win over Springville. And last night, knocking off #1 Central Lyon. Timeout on the court. Let's listen in on Sidney's huddle as they trail by 4.
I want you to be as aggressive, all right? Good passes, let's put the ball away, all right? Let's go. Go, girls on 3. 1, 2, 3, go.
So you get a minute to talk, and she used about 10 seconds there.
Well, and when you're playing like they've been playing this week, you don't need a lot of time. Get out there, play your game, make sure that you're keeping the ball in play, and let them make the mistakes.
Barb, the last loss Sidney had was a couple of months ago. They won 29 in a row. And when I say their last loss, I also mean their only loss. 34-1. Just a couple of years ago, this Sidney team won 1 match all year long. The next year, they only won 5 matches. Now, they're knocking on the door of a state title and an incredible, near perfect 35-1 overall record. That's why if you're watching this and you're like, oh, my high school isn't very good, well, guess what? Look what Sidney did. Turned it around.
And in a short amount of time. I mean, it's the same players, and you just wonder, you know, what happened. And they talked to him about it after the semifinal match, and they just said they put a ton of work in. They got on club teams and AAU teams and have just worked a lot.
Meanwhile, a 5-0 run. Get out of the way, the Wildcats. They're trying to tie this thing up at 1 set apiece. Timeout. Here's the Janesville huddle.
That's sweet, that's it. That's a play. Here we go.
And identifying the hitters.
Yes.
Good job with that. Make sure we're talking up there so we know who's going where. And defense back row. Get set. Get those feet settled before they make contact so we
Stay
can move
low.
from there. Down low, ready to move on contact. Keep it up. Good
Watch
ball.
their hand. As soon as it stops,
on their toes, and that's because a lot of the shots that Sidney sends over are not hard-hit balls. They're tips, and they're trying to put the ball in a certain place. And so if you're on your toes for Janesville, when they're making contact, you can move to the right spot more easily.
Heard the voice of assistant coach Todd Bangan. He's done a great job helping Janesville get to the state tournament the last 6 years. Won the state title in 2013. Couple runner-up finishes as well. Out of the timeout, the point by the Cowgirls, and that snaps a 6-0 Wildcat run. Again, this is the 1A final. And just watching a lot of volleyball the last couple of days, I'd say Jaden Daffer, the 5'1" freshman libero for Sidney. She's one of my favorite players just watching out there. She just plays with she's a firecracker, I guess, and really gets into it.
She's got such a business-like attitude about it. She's making sure that they're focused and that the ball's not going to go down on the floor on her watch.
Larson with the kill, and here is that firecracker, 3.1 digs per set. Gets a lot of aces as well. That won't show up as an ace, but it's a tough serve. Nice job by Janesville to turn that into a quick offensive kill for Jillian Gergen.
Well, and that pass, while the serve was tough, that pass was perfect and gave Janesville the opportunity to mix up that offense like we've been talking that will help their success here.
Gergen with 8 kills to lead Janesville. Bree Thompson has 6, and Kennedy Meister with 6. The next highest Wildcat has 1. 9 kills for Lexi Larson to lead the Cowgirls. It's in. In Janesville, they weren't happy how that first set ended. A 10-1 run by Sidney in the middle of that opening set. And Sidney ended up winning 25-20.
Well, and when it's mostly off your mistakes, you know it's things that you can sharpen up.
Good hustle by the Wildcats. Setter's dump. Janesville recognizes it. Block. That's a solo stuffer. Take a look. Ashley Foth, a junior, 5'9" middle hitter. She's only played in 30 sets heading into this tournament out of 83. Big time play. Janesville needs 3 more points to even out the series. In system, good swing, got it down. Perfect pass, perfect set, the windup and the kill. 23-16. Thompson with 2 kills. Good recovery in the back row for Janesville. 4 contacts.
Well, and I think somebody didn't see the first contact, and it just kind of, caromed off another arm, and I think they thought that it's time to set it up.
There's a lot to keep track of.
There is a lot to keep track of, especially if you're just turning off the net and trying to get into your spot to transition. You don't always see what's going on.
Andrea Hess, 92 kills on the season, her 2nd of the match. We have set point here in the 2nd. Out, and Janesville. That was a pretty dominant win. 25-17 the final. And we're right where we started, tied. So, having fun on the volleyball court. Let's now join Paul Yeager with highlights from the 2015 Girls State Swimming and Diving Championships.
Dick Markison leads his Cedar Falls Tigers into the State Swimming and Diving Championships, his 47th season, heading the Tigers. The 50-yard freestyle. This is a great race. All-out sprint in lane 5. Sophie Sorensen. In 4, Sarah Schemmel. And 3, Lexi Winnett. Watch the middle of the pool here at the turn. This one's going to come down to the end. Doreen from Ankeny in 6, Sorensen from 5. But looking at lane 4, it's going to be right at the end. Sarah Schemmel, named Outstanding Swimmer, is your champ.
Had a quick start. I went a little deep, so I had to come up and like really get going. And then my turn felt really good, so off the wall, I just I can't breathe. I breathed like once on that second 50 or 25.
Final race of the day, the 400 freestyle relay. Kennedy in 8, Valley in 7. They're the defending champs. Cedar Falls in 6, Polk in 5, Ames in 4, Johnson, Waukee, and Ankeny at the bottom of your screen. Pretty even early on. Grace Snyder for Ames, Lauren Schaefer for Southeast Polk, Cameron Summers from Waukee, all in the middle of that race as they make the turn. And now the exchange. Going in first for Ames is Olivia Jenks. Rachel Hewlett for Southeast Polk is in second. Very even at the bottom as they make the turn for the second lap. Good swim in there by Olivia Jenks. Morgan Rosser's getting ready, and Rosser is into the water, as is Ashley Hewlett for Southeast Polk. Hewlett's got some ground to make up. As Rosser, the junior, this is a loaded Ames squad with hardly any seniors competing. Here comes Ames at the end. The anchor run by Sophie Sorensen. She wins gold individually and now another as a relay champion.
Get ready, swim fast, and just have a positive attitude and just compete and just have fun in the end. And just go as fast as you can, leave it all in the pool because there's nothing afterwards. So.
Ames sets a state record with a time of 3:29.15. Southeast Polk was second, and Waukee, the Warriors, were third in the 400 freestyle relay.
Thank you, Paul. Great job as always. Appreciate your reports on high school girls athletics and, of course, on market to market. Barb, some statistics. The main ones are on the screen right now. 25-20, Sidney won the first. 25-17. It was Janesville winning the second. What sticks out to you as far as statistics?
Well, I think the statistics have kind of stayed the same. Janesville leads the kills, the blocks, and the aces, which they led after the first set too, while the digs are pretty even with Sidney having one more than that. So it looks kind of the same as the first set to me.
Well, we're tied 1-1. Both teams should be settled in right now. Those jitters, oh, we're playing for a championship, should be in the rearview mirror right now. All full attention of what's taking place on the court. 1-0 in favor of the Wildcats. Here's the libero, Morgan Charlie, a junior. I say the word libero. Our viewers see she's wearing a completely different uniform. After this point, we'll explain what that position is and how new it is to the sport of volleyball here at the high school and collegiate level in the NCAAs. Good swing down, and it's a 2-0 lead for Janesville.
Well, the libero position is a defensive specialist, and they have a few special rules, so they have to wear a different colored jersey, so the refs know that that is the special rule person. They cannot set if they're in front of the 3-meter line. They also cannot attack the ball from anywhere on the net as long as they're above the height of the net. They don't count as a substitution, so they can run on and off the court kind of freely. And they were added a decade or so ago because when they moved the rules to rally scoring, they wanted to add a piece of defense to it, so they added the defensive specialist position they call the libero.
So they're really the best back row defensive specialists. Usually you say, you're so good at this, we'll give you this libero jersey and you're our anchor in our back row defensively.
Yeah, generally they are, but if it were my team, I would put the person that I know is going to take the ball also, because you have to have a great defender, but they also have to be confident enough to know that they can just go in and take the ball away from someone else if they need to.
Janesville looking pretty good here in the early going of this third set. Some of that momentum maybe carrying off of that 25-17 win. First kill for Alyssa Bangan, and it's 4-1. And that's hit out of bounds. So the run continues 5-1. Again, Sidney 34-1 overall. Janesville 27-14. Those 14 losses are quality losses, almost every single one of them. Playing against Cedar Falls in the 5A semifinals this year. Dyke, who made the 2A semifinals. They weren't finding ways to finish matches. So about midway through the season, Janesville head coach Shelly Sorensen shuffled the lineup, put some new people into the rotation, couple freshmen. It's really paid off. Some freshmen stepped up and really maturing when it matters most here in the month of November.
Well, and while that is good because it helped them this season, it will also help them in future seasons because it gives those young players lots of experience and big-time experience here at the state tournament.
Bengen, Lickway, and Thompson, 3 freshmen that were not on the varsity team at the start of the year. 3 freshmen that are some of the main reasons why they are playing for a state title tonight.
Well, and you have to give the coaching staff credit for kind of thinking outside the box. What can we do to get better? It's not just changing a rotation or putting a different player in a different position. It's pulling some people up completely to varsity. Wow,
great hustle. They return that ball and then a block. Janesville leads by 5, make it 6. Defensively looking so strong is Sidney, but Janesville, again, that height and some of the things they're doing on offense is giving them that 6-point lead here in the 3rd.
Well, and the difference between this set and the first set is that Janesville's not making the errors that they made in the first set. They're swinging those balls deep and landing them in the court rather than 2 feet out of the court.
They gave away some points in that opening set where Sidney won 25-20. Blocked. Janesville won't let it hit the court though. That'll get a big cheer out of the Wildcat student section. Long rally. And it's going to be Sidney with the point. Just their 3rd, though, here in the 3rd. Keys to the match for Sidney. Play as a unit. Defend, defend, defend. Let's evaluate here now that we're in the 3rd set.
Well, I think they've done a decent job of defending, but Janesville has done a great job of kind of the old hit it where they ain't type of playing. And
it seems like a good idea.
Right, that is the goal. But a lot of times, a lot of teams will try that, and Sidney gets the ball up.
Here's the replay. Sometimes it takes one play to really turn around the momentum, and especially with back to serve. Yep, there's the firecracker. Jaden Daffer again.
You may be giving her a new nickname.
Well, you just look at her. She is just fired up anytime they score.
Well, and she's also 5'1".
Yes. And she plays as big as any player on the court right now.
Well, who knows? In 3 years when she's a senior, she could be 6'2".
It's true.
I didn't grow till I was a sophomore.
So it's fun. We announced the 5A final, Centennial won, and Winters, the freshman, was just incredible. 18 kills in the championship match. Guess what? She's a freshman. She could grow another 5 inches.
Right.
We'll be doing the 5A final next year and be, wow, look how dominant she is now. It's really the development physically, but boy, mentally as well. Learning so much from year to year. 9-6, Wildcats with the lead. Sidney on a run. An attack air asking for a tip. And they say yes.
I didn't see a touch on that one.
I think the top official was the only one who did.
I do too. And it was off the other side of the block, so it's hard to see, and we're far away, and these are the best refs, so we don't want to act like we're questioning them too much. But, you know, as a former player, you got to question the refs every once in a while.
Lexi Larson has 11 kills to lead Sidney, and a total of 6 kills for McClintock. Wildcats lead 10-7, and that's the 10th kill for Bree Thompson. Pretty impressive. can do it all, front row and back row. Oh, got it in.
What a great angle. The defense for Sidney had sucked in probably 8 feet off that sideline, and she nailed that sideline. Great swing.
There you see the stats for Bree Thompson here in the tournament. Oh, don't see that happen very often. I thought they were going a quick set to Cassidy Hobby. She didn't jump. And then the outside hitter, McClintock, wasn't really ready for it.
Well, and they've changed things up a little bit with Hulsing taking a few more of the sets. And the set kind of went between where the middle should hit it and where the outside should hit it, and neither of them were really sure who should take it.
A 6-point lead for Janesville. A 4-0 run. Here's the Sidney huddle.
Keep it together, all right? You're a team, that's how you got here. So you gotta keep supporting each other and you gotta play hard. All right? We got this. Lay it on the court. Every single point, you gotta outwork, okay? Good pass, and let's put it away. Let's go.
Yes! We got that thing!
Let's go. This is only his 3rd set.
You're a team. That's how you got here. True words. And very motivational here for the Cowgirls as you take a look at head coach Amy McClintock. 2 years of coaching, she took a program that, quite frankly, didn't win and turned it into the program's first ever appearance at the state tournament and having a chance to win the whole thing here right now tonight. 13-7, we talked about the strengths for Sidney being defense, defense, defense. What types of defenses are there that they either do or they potentially could do?
Right, there are 2 main defenses. One's player back or perimeter, and that's where you have a player in the middle of the court in the back, so the corners are open. The left back player and the right back player are up a little bit to protect the line, but the corners are open. The other one is rotation, and that's where the corners are protected. You have players in the corners, and the middle back part of the court is wide open.
Heard a whistle. Cowgirls get the point on the violation, now 13-9. That's so many different plays offensively, defensively. What zone should they serve to? A whole lot of strategy going on, unfolding here in the U.S. Cellular Center in downtown Cedar Rapids. And a whole lot on the line with the 1A championship match. Standing down ball over the net by McClintock. Good pass, good set, good kill. It's that easy.
Well, they're making it look like it's that easy, but it really isn't. She did a nice job of getting that ball through the blockers, and we've talked about it before. Even though the blockers have certain positions, they need to play outside. I mean, sorry, the defenders in the back row have certain positions. They need to play outside of the blockers' hands so that the block actually protects some of the back row and funnels the ball to their defending players.
Barb, after that timeout, the Cowgirls, not only do they stop the 4-0 run, they're putting one together here. A 4-0 run of their own. The serve by Hulsing. A junior outside hitter. Had 34 aces in the regular season. Yep, that'll count. Look out. Here comes the Sidney Cowgirls. Number 4 in the state. A 29-match winning streak. Playing like a team right now. Here's a listen inside the Janesville huddle with head coach Shelly Sorensen.
Yeah, mix it up. Here we go. Hey, we're going to run you on a 2 on this one, okay? Andrea, 1. Who's my setter right now? Who's setting? Okay? A 1 and a 2 right here, okay? So you're going to sneak in, okay? On a good one. On a good one. Yes. Okay, talk to her. Got to start it with the pass. Hey! You got to earn your points, ladies. They're not going to give it to you. You got to earn your points. Let's go. Let's go. Side out. 1, 2, 3. Come on, Meister. Let's go.
It's never been said better. You have to earn your points. That's so true.
Nobody is giving away a championship tonight. And if you come in thinking that's going to happen, well,
You got a long night ahead of you.
By now, should have it figured out. Great job, Shelly Sorensen. 29 years of coaching, 25 years at Janesville, 542 wins, 6 state tournament appearances in a row. Assisted by Todd Bengen and Dana Sorensen. Well, she really stressed, we just need a side out.
That's
what
the
it
truth.
starts
Yep,
with.
that's the truth. You need to stop the run. So whatever you need to do it, we'll see if they get a good pass here and run the X play, which we can talk about if they do. Kinda.
It works. It might have not been the X play, but Lexi Larson with the kill, and that ends a 6-0 run by the Cowgirls, and that's the 8th kill for Larson.
Generally, what an X play is you have a person coming in for a 1 from kind of behind the setter, and then a person coming from a 2 around that. So the pattern that their approaches take makes an X.
Makes sense to me. 14,
it's a lot
14.
easier to explain if you can actually draw it.
Here's my favorite camera angle. High above the net, and you can see the call. Deadlock, 14 all. Well, thought it was going to be a quick set. Altered was yes. Janesville near sideline. Oh, took a little shank off the side.
Well,
and sometimes that happens.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what happened there, as the setter Daffer kind of fell on the ground. I don't know if she tripped on something or.
How important spacing, though? I mean, there's not a whole lot of area. You really can't be getting bunched up in the same area.
Well, and that happens occasionally because you have more than one person going for the ball, and then it's, you know, that's part of the experience of playing a whole season together to figure out how to get back to your position from there.
Good shot of Elisa Bengen, one of the setters here. Good set out of Elisa. Another long volley. Oh, it's gonna go down! Oh, great thought. The element of surprise, that's Mackenzie Daffer, the setter. You don't need to touch it 3 times. Just blocks, tips it right back over. 16-15, 16 all. We're tied at 1 set apiece, and we're tied here in the 3rd.
You can't end the day better than this.
No, you can't. And Barb and I have been here since 8 a.m. and we have thoroughly enjoyed it, but I'd rather end with an exclamation point than a comma or period. And right now, going toe-to-toe down the home stretch here in the 3rd set. 12 kills, a dozen already for Gergen. Had 15 kills in the semifinal sweep over Tripola. Big swing. Out of Lexi Larson. How about another tie, 17 all?
Well, Lexi Larson, even though she's 5'6",
look at that smile.
She knows what she's doing up there at the net, and she's not letting that ball get past her.
The senior reached 1,000 career kills this season. Coach says plays with incredible focus. It's like a teeter-totter right now. One side goes up a point, then the next side ties it and goes up a point. Right now, 18-17. Janesville with the lead and the serve. Boyle, Carly Boyle, one of the 2 setters. She's the senior. The back row out of bounds. Point Janesville. Four starters return for Janesville this year. Gergen and Thompson, a solid 1-2 punch at the net, both averaging 3 kills per set. We've had big nights so far. 4 contacts the call, point to Janesville. They're on a run. Head coach Amy McClintock wants to stop that run. She uses a timeout. Let's see what Sidney is talking about in their huddle.
You gotta get a block on her. You've got to swing, snap, okay? When you're coming up, you're here, and you're stopping here, and that's why it's going out. Get on top of it and snap it down. Let's go.
Blocking me in the middle is
yeah.
We've seen great coaching all day long. 5A, 4A, 3A, 2A, now 1A.
Well, and it's interesting because I like it when players come to the coaches and say, okay, coach, I'm getting blocked here. I'm having, what's open? Where are my tips available? That kind of thing. And you could hear Lexi Larson ask her that at the end of the timeout there.
Barb Randall, Eric Braley with the call here for Iowa Public Television. Great production crew here, bringing you all the live action from downtown Cedar Rapids.
Gergen does a really nice job of hitting those angles. She knows there's only a single blocker up with her, and that blocker can only take so much space. So all you have to do is cut it around those two arms.
She had 338 kills in the regular season, averaging 3.4 kills per set. Almost got another one there. Good pass, nice quick set. Hammer time, but it's out. Oh!
That's the right idea, though. I mean, that's a nice angle, and she's trading them off. One time she's hitting the angle, one time she's hitting the cutback across her body.
21-18. Janesville needs just 4 more points to go ahead in the series, make it 3 more. Cowgirls went on a 10-1 run in the first set to win 25-20. Wildcats looked dominant in the second set, winning 25-17.
Calling a double contact on that one.
Double contact. You gotta love the effort out of Mackenzie Daffer diving to get that set up. And it's now 23-18. Free ball. Attack. 4 contacts against Janesville. That's the side out the Cowgirls needed. And now a chance to serve is Lexi Larson. She does so much at the front of the net, but she also leads the team with 43 aces.
And you can almost count that as an ace. They won't in the stats, but you can almost count that as an ace because that point was a direct impact of the serve.
Nice look on the replay. Good pass, back set. Good communication for Sidney. Now the overpass. In system is Janesville. Blocked. They're not tall, but they can still put up a decent block. Oh, and hit into the net. Larson, she wanted it, but she's so far back behind that 3-meter line.
Well, she was just on top of it a little bit too much and hit it down rather than up.
You love the aggressive swing, though.
Absolutely.
Whew, just cleared the net. Again, just the different trajectory than what we've seen at the 5A and 3A championship matches. Beautiful up by Daffer. Nice pass. Tooled out of bounds. Cowgirls, another point. Substitution. Janesville needs to get something going here. Elisa Bengen, 5'7" freshman setter, comes in. And you like that. I mean, Janesville needs just 1 more point. Let's get someone else in there and try and mix it up a bit.
Well, and that's part of their 6-2 offense. And she sets from the back row, so she has those 3 options available. And
Janesville needs just 1 more point to go ahead in the series 2-1. But as we talked about, Sidney's not giving them anything here in this 1A final. Give and go on the outside. Attack, Janesville. Good up by Daffer. Got it down. Why was that smart?
Well, instead of blocking it right there where she had players, she knew that there was nobody back in that left back corner, so she just set it back to the left back corner. Nice. Like you said.
24-20.
Nobody has to have 3 contacts every time. You can send it over on the first contact or the second contact.
Here's the Janesville huddle.
Give yourselves room here, okay? 1 good pass. Okay, side out right here. Be the one. You got to want the ball right here. swing. Okay, find a way. Get it done. Let's go. Here we go. Here we go. Stay composed right here. Be the one. Picture it right here. Let's go. Side out. 1, 2, 3. Help each other out. Let's go. Help each other out.
They're going to need to help each other out to get that final point. A run here for the Cowgirls. 2-0 run. The serve. Free ball. Sidney in system. Outside. Yep, that'll count. You betcha. Oh, my. What a championship match. This is primetime television, Barb.
This is awesome.
Still set point for Janesville.
There it is again.
Oh! Holy buckets. 24 all. 4-0 run.
What a great
against
spot.
set point to tie it. Oh! Well, the momentum's now on the side of Sidney. They're the ones with the ball. Janesville, near side. Block. Back corner. Reset the offense. No, I would not hit it at Jaden Daffer. She's not going to let anything hit the court. The freshman. Oh, 5-0 run. Now Sidney has set point.
Holy cow. Right? Can we say that? He's gone, but can we say that?
I can't believe it. They are clicking on all cylinders in a service air. Brings up 25-25. Little overtime, extra volleyball here in the third. Tied at 1 game apiece. Janesville had 5 opportunities for set point, couldn't get it done. New life. Quick set, down. The Wildcats set point again. Did Sidney exhaust all their energy just to get back in?
I don't think so.
We'll see. Banging the serve. Pretty good attack for hitting that far back off the net.
Well, yeah,
Barb.
she was way off the net, and she took a swing at that. That was beautiful.
26-26. Yes, you played at 25, but you have to win by 2. At this pace, might be 40-42 for a final here in the third. We'll see. Quick set.
It'd be fun.
Yes. No argument here.
Wow, she's got a great down ball.
Tip. Got it down. 27-26. Janesville, for the 7th or 8th time, has set point here in the third set. And arguably one of their best servers in Morgan Charlie, the DS, back behind the service line. Good pass. Nice set. Ooh, tough, so close to the net. That's a tough play to ask of Carly Boyle, the senior setter. And it's 27-27. Sidney, blocked at the net. Set point again.
Well, this will be interesting to see what the reaction is once you get blocked on at a big match point like that. I hope she swings away again.
28-27. Janesville, again, I sound like a broken record, just needs 1 more point. A scrappy defense out of Sidney. They kept it off the court. The pancake, the hand slid under. But that's the final point. 29-27. Janesville dug deep. fought back, held tough. They take the lead 2-1 in this exciting 1A championship final. We're just getting started. There's no way Janesville is going to feel super confident just up 2-1 after how tight that last one ended.
No, you certainly can't.
Look
nice
at the
angle
final.
on that.
The 1A championship match, the trophy on the line for Janesville. They've been here 6 straight times to the state tournament. Sidney, the very first appearance ever in school history here at state. So, the road to state, the road to the final. Sidney, they're in the top portion of the bracket. Defeated Springville, a huge sweep over #1 Central Lyon in the semifinals. And Janesville in the bottom half had to go through Tripola, avenged an earlier loss. They're in the same conference as Tripola. Actually, Tripola won the conference, and Janesville and Sidney, that's how they got to where we are. Well, Barb, it's been a fun, full day of volleyball. I have a lot left. What do you expect to see as it's just a 2-1 advantage here after 3 sets in the 1A championship?
Well, I think this could go 5. I mean, the way that Sidney came back in that last set, I think that they'll come out fighting. I think they could take the set and it could go 5. And we know what happens in 5. Anybody's game.
Anybody's game, and we have seen some great volleyball here from Cedar Rapids. I like that it ends with the 1A. The schools, the communities really come out, and you can see just the fact that, you know, you don't have to be the tallest to win at the sport of volleyball here and win a state title.
That's right. It's about heart. It's about fight. It's about how good your chemistry is. There are so many different things that play into it other than height.
Heart, definitely a big part of it. So let's take a look at some of the statistics. Through 3 sets, a lot more kills for Janesville, but it's not always one above the net.
That's right. There are more digs for Sidney and more kills for Janesville, so it kind of, you know, plays against each other, balances each other out. Service aces and blocks, both Janesville leads both of those. I'm not surprised about the blocking because they're a bigger team, but you know, again, I would look at those stats and think that Janesville's just killing Sidney, and they aren't.
So we've played 3, and right now Janesville has the lead 2-1. You have to win 3 sets to win the match to get the championship trophy. We've already handed out 4 trophies. Congratulations to Ankeny Centennial, your 5A champs. They defeated Bettendorf 3-1. Congratulations to West Delaware, your 4A champion, defeating Harlan 3-0. Congratulations to the Nevada Cubs, defeating West Liberty in Class 3A 3-0. And congratulations to the 2A champs, Western Christian, defeating Sumner Fredericksburg 3-1. Who's it going to be? Who's going to get the last trophy? Is it going to be the 2013 champion Janesville, who has the 2-1 lead, or Sidney, who's come from far, far away, 4.5 hours, never been to state. Just 4 years ago, only won 1 volleyball match all year long. And Janesville with the early lead 2-0.
Well, and I think the interesting part about that, what you just said about Sidney, where they won one match, it's not the program that won 1 match, it's these kids as 8th graders. So they have learned what it takes to win. They have gone out and done the hard work, and now it's paid off.
Played some club AAU volleyball, really helped. Obviously a strong coach in Amy McClintock, who's taken over the last 2 years. But look at Janesville, wow, really using that momentum after that hard-fought win in the 3rd set, now up 3-0. And by the way, 19 kills, 19 of them for Jillian Gergen for Janesville.
I'm not really surprised. It's easy to get her the ball, and she's up against a single block most of the time. So she has basically her pick of which way she wants to go with it and can put the ball down easily. Although nothing's easy against Sidney.
Nope, but right now a 4-0 lead. Beautiful shot above the net, the big celebration. Janesville really likes this rotation that they have on the court right now. Big swing, yep, got it in. Far corner. And the timeout probably will be called soon after a 5-0 run to start the fourth. It's a must-win opportunity for Sidney, but they can't wait. They need a side out, and they need it immediately. Good attack from the back row. Quick set, block, point, Wildcats. And there's the timeout. Janesville, wow.
This looks a lot like the first set.
Jumping out to the lead, and then it was Sidney going on a 10-1 run in the middle.
Keep your energy, don't start using your heads, okay? But you got to cover with your hitters. You're there, but we're not down and ready for the ball to come back on our arms, okay? Get your arms out, ready to play defense. Hey, let's go. Keep your hands out. Go after it, let's go.
Barb Randall, Eric Braley here. 1A championship. It's Championship Friday, final day of volleyball here in the state of Iowa. After today, you turn the chapter and say, all right, time for the winter sports. Not before that final championship has been decided. Sidney, 29-match winning streak, 34-1, haven't lost in a couple of months here. Their defense is really good. Janesville went up against a brutal schedule in their non-conference, playing 5As, 4As, 3As, 2As to get battle tested and ready for tonight. A little miscommunication by the Wildcats, and there's the first point for the Cowgirls out of Sidney. Again, if you're just tuning in, fun fact, doing a little research on Sidney, one of the largest rodeos in the United States takes place in Sidney in early August. Hence the name Cowgirls.
And their boys are Cowboys.
9th kill for Janesville's Kennedy Meister. Averaging a 282 kill efficiency on the season, a 2.6 kills per set. Oh, they grabbed it. Got it just in on that sideline.
Well, again, if Janesville can use those angles, so can Sidney. If you're up against a single blocker, take advantage and hit around that block. Again, the set needs to be off the net. We've talked about that a little bit throughout the day, but the set needs to be 3 to 4 feet off the net so you can see the block, have room to hit around it, and also have room to take a full arm swing.
30 kills for Janesville, 30 of them, now 31 between two players. Jillian Gergen has 21. And Bree Thompson has 10. 8-2, 6-point lead here in the fourth set for the Wildcats. And a service ace. Service ace for Carly Boyle, the senior setter. 38 aces in the regular season. That time a good pass out of Daffer. Ooh, that's going to be a tough ball to play. Nice. And it counts for a point. I don't know how she kept her momentum from taking her into the net or under the net.
Sometimes some players are really good about running along the net and keeping your balance so that you don't fall into anything. I wasn't really that clever.
It's hard. Hard to throw the emergency brake on
That's
when
right.
the entire momentum's taking you there. Well, Janesville's playing at a completely different level right now. Up by 9. Carly Boyle. And another strong portion of their rotation for Janesville. They have great back row passing, transition into offense for Janesville that we've seen here in the last 2 sets. Hammer time, another kill. A dozen points for the Wildcats and only 2 points for the Cowgirls. Here's the replay.
She really goes after that hard. She's aggressive. I mean, it's beautiful. And to think she's only a freshman, Janesville has a nice future ahead of them.
Battle above the net. Bouncing it back and forth. Janesville in the white uniforms. Sidney in the red. Good attack, smart to let it go, but in the net, charged against Janesville.
And this is kind of how the first set went.
Exactly.
They started making mistakes, and Sidney was able to kind of open the door and step through.
Well, Barb, we do want to mention the NCAA Volleyball Regional will be in Des Moines mid-December, December 11th and 12th. If people are watching this high school match on TV, why should they get their tickets to go to Wells Fargo Arena to watch that NCAA Regional?
Why should they?
Yep.
Because if you think this is fun, that's even more fun. It's a completely different level. It's some of the best teams in college volleyball out of this region. You'll see a team that will go on to the Final Four. I mean, it will be amazing to be there and watch those teams. They play at such a high level.
Get your tickets now. It's December 11th and 12th, and then at the CenturyLink Center in Omaha, December 17th and 19th is the Final Four and championship. Well, right now, this 1A championship, Janesville should be feeling pretty good, up 14-3 in the fourth.
Anywhere as long as you're on this side of Meister, so you can Reese here or Julian's here, so you can be either of those.
All right, hey, stay focused, 1 point at a time. You gotta earn it, okay? Expect everything, be ready. Be ready for your opportunities. Be ready for your opportunities. You're gonna have them right here. Be ready right up here. Be ready physically, get it done, 1 point at a time. Let's go. Wildcats, 1, 2, 3.
So you can see, be ready for anything, and you got to be right up here, and she pointed to her head.
She's exactly right. They need to be ready for whatever comes their way. They've been in this exact same position this match. And so expect the ball to keep coming back to you.
14-3, though, in a pretty good spot, leading the series 2-1. That ball did come back, and it's a kill for Cameron McClintock, the freshman outside hitter, coach's daughter for Sidney. But a double-digit lead. And only needing 11 more points for a state title. But we've seen it time and time again. Sidney, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to make anything easy for Janesville.
Well, they want this just as badly as Janesville does. They've worked so hard, just like Janesville. The teams at this point, they all put in a ton of time and a ton of effort, and they don't want to see it fall by the wayside.
Just grabbing the back service line, Peyton Thompson, having herself a night, the senior outside hitter. Back set, nice attack. You know, the head coach, Amy McClintock for Sidney, after the semifinal win, said, well, you know, when we get down, we don't fall apart. And these girls were not going to be denied. They just believe in each other. If they're down, instead of going their separate ways, they actually collectively come together.
Well, and that's where I think their chemistry is kind of magical. And I think some of that comes from being in a small community where you grow up with each of these players. You know everything about these players. You've gone to school with them for 13 years. Well, some of them aren't seniors, but you know, you've gone to school with them throughout. And so you care about them, you know their families, you know exactly what's going on in their lives, and I think that can bring this special chemistry.
Another point for Sidney, trailing now 15-7. In talking with their coaches, they don't think they're not a one-hit wonder. This is not just, we'll go, it's our first time to state, and now we're done.
Oh, we're happy to have been there.
Yeah, no, they have an 8th grade group that's undefeated this season. A lot of underclassmen. They expect to make this a kind of a ritual. They might be reserving some hotel blocks already, saying, yeah, 2016, Barb, Eric, we'll see ya.
Yeah, it'll be a long drive, but we'll be there.
Meanwhile, Janesville Yeah, it's like clockwork. This is the 6th year in a row, and looking at all these freshmen, sophomores, you definitely think they'll be back.
This could be the same match in 3 years. You know, you have the kids who are now 8th and 9th graders playing against each other as seniors.
Hopefully we're here as well.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
17-7, double-digit lead, inching closer and closer to that 25-point mark. That's what Janesville needs to get to win that state title. 18-7 now. What's Janesville doing well in the last couple minutes here?
Well, they aren't making the mistakes that they made earlier, and I think that's, I mean, when you're playing against a team that sends every ball back, you can't afford to make the mistakes.
Sidney gets the point, but it's just their 8th point. 10 kills. Excuse me, 17 kills for number 7, McClintock. Looking to add to it. Pass will go into the net. Nothing really you can do. It's interesting. So as a former college volleyball coach, did you have girls where you just threw it in the net?
Absolutely. Well, and you talk about watching where it hits the net. Generally, if it hits the net high, it's going to roll down the net, and you can play it closer to the net. If it hits the net low, it's going to bounce out farther. So you have to kind of watch where it hits the net also.
In some of these high school gyms with the low-hanging ceilings, it's kind of like Plinko. Where's it going to go down? Got to read how it comes off the rafters. That's a big point. I think Janesville's head coach, Shelly Sorensen, her 29th year coaching, I think she was about ready to call a timeout after a service ace and a couple points strung together by Sidney. But then the side out came. She's like, okay, we'll let them fight through this here, now leading by 9. Out of bounds. Was it touched?
We have a touch from the line judge.
Okay. Couldn't quite tell.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to see on that one. Well, for me, it's always hard. I just wait for the line judge.
That's why you're not
Take the easy way out. Exactly. I don't want that job for the world.
Mackenzie Daffer serving for Sidney. Running tip down the line. Good placement. Got to hit it over here. They do, but it's out of bounds. 20 points for Janesville. 5 points away.
Well, and you can feel that the players on the bench are starting to feel it. The fans are starting to feel it. But I still have a feeling that the Sidney Cowgirls haven't made their last run yet.
Set to the middle. Beautiful. Beautiful up. Now the overpass. Good swing. Down for the kill. Third kill. And right now, with a 2012 game, here in the 4th, serving Jaden Daffer. Nice placement.
Not sure what happened there, why Sidney didn't go for that ball. I mean, maybe occasionally you get in a position and you just kind of get stuck and your body won't move, but I'm not sure what happened there.
21-12. Cowgirls, they can't wait. Got to make a run right now. Ball tipped over, but in the net.
Interesting. It's a back row attack that was called. However, the key to that is the back row attacker has to be above the level of the net, the height of the net, and I don't think she was. So I guess I'm going to have to disagree with that call, but again, I'm not the one out there making it.
Double-digit lead, just 3 points away from a state championship. Good attack. Sidney to the back row. Quick set. Nice to keep that ball alive. In system, setting something up on the outside, and a huge stuff, Cassidy Hobby.
Sometimes you wonder, with Sidney chasing down some of those balls, you wonder if they'd take them out to the baseball field and just toss balls and say, run these down, you know? I mean, it's just, they go after everything.
Very well conditioned, too. 22-13, little roll shot, that'll work. Kept him guessing, pulled that.
Well, the timing of that was perfect. She went out like she was going to hit it, and she rolled
it. Was almost more the fake than anything else.
Yeah, it was almost a changeup. and the block had gone up with her like she was going to hit, and then she just rolled it, so as the blocker's hands were coming down, the ball just kind of rolled right over the top of them.
Well, if a changeup works in baseball, why wouldn't it work in volleyball? A service ace! Match point. 1 single point away from the Class 1A state title. Janesville up 24-13. Championship point. With one more championship. And Janesville, they are your Class 1A champion. Final score 25-13. Doing exactly what they did in 2013 as they win another title. Janesville joins Ankeny Centennial, West Delaware, Nevada, and Western Christian as your 2015 champion. We will honor the 2015 Class 1A state tournament team individually and find out who the tournament captain is. We'll hand out the runner-up honor trophy as well as the state team trophy as well. Let's send it to the floor for the announcing of the all-tournament team.
And presenting the 2015 Class 1A all-tournament team is John Sembothi, Regional Manager for Iowa Farm Bureau. From Sidney, Jaden Daffer. From Janesville, Bree Thompson. From Janesville, Kennedy Meister. From Chipola, Kennedy Drewis. From Central Lyon, Maddie Nolak. From Janesville, Jillian Gergen. And your 1A captain, from Sidney, Lexi Larson.
Congratulations to the members of the all-tournament team for Class 1A. Very well deserving of the honor. Barb, just your thoughts on that 1A matchup, what we just witnessed?
Well, it was a fun match to watch. It's always fun to watch great defensive teams. And, you know, congratulations to both teams. Hopefully we'll see both of them back in the next few years.
I would definitely think so as they return a wealth of talent. As a look at the all-tournament team for Class 1A. A couple more trophies to hand out here before we call it a day, a full day of volleyball on Championship Friday from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, here on Iowa Public Television.
State volleyball runner-up, the Sidney Cowgirls, and head coach Amy McClintock. And now, your 2015 Class 1A champions, Coach Shelly Sorensen and the Wildcats from Janesville.
Janesville went through a rugged non-conference schedule. They suffered some losses. They pulled some freshmen onto the varsity roster that didn't even have uniforms, weren't even on the team. They said, well, let's mix it up a bit. Great coaching in her 29th year, Shelly Sorensen. The changes made, the team bought in, and because of that, Janesville is your 2015 Class 1A champion. What a day, Barb. We've been doing this together for a long time. It's always fun. It's always one of the highlights of my year. I know your year as well. And 2015 did not disappoint.
No, it didn't. It was a fantastic day. Congratulations to not only the champions, the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, Iowa Public Television, and everybody who played this year.
Well, thank you, Barb. Always a pleasure. We thank our entire Iowa Public Television production crew, and we thank you, the viewer of IPTV, for tuning in and supporting the Iowa girls. Highlights from this 1A final. Have a wonderful night, everyone. From Cedar Rapids, I'm Eric Braley saying good night for Iowa Public Television.
Funding for the Iowa Girls High School Volleyball Championships is provided by
The path to greatness starts early. The Iowa Farm Bureau believes in Iowa's youth and their pursuit of greatness. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Each student's effort is important, and when one rises, we all rise to a better Iowa.
Fairway, along with Nabisco, Wells Blue Bunny, and Frito-Lay, is a proud sponsor of the 2015 Iowa Girls High School Sports Championships. We congratulate all the schools and student athletes participating in this year's Girls High School State Volleyball Championships. Fairway, proud to care for the places we work and live.
By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialist, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community.
Mid-American Energy, diversifying the ways we generate electricity by investing in wind generation capacity in Iowa. Information is available at midamericanenergy.com. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly